What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another vintage Star Wars market update. We've got everything from proof cards to overstock Lily Lettys, graded, ungraded. I tried to span the gamut across a wide range of price points. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. And to all my existing subscribers, thanks so much for watching. Let's go ahead and dig right into some awesome eBay sales. And it's interesting what prices have done here. It seems like for certain items, they're going down. Other items, there's been no effect at all with regard to kind of economic conditions that are out there, at least here in the U.S. But here's an example of a figure that a couple months ago, the exact same figure, the exact same COO, country of origin, and grade, sold at auction, and it sold for $450. Well, this is an AFA 85 Obi-Wan Kenobi with gray hair, as you can see here on that grading label, AFA 85 Hong Kong. Now, again, I went back and double checked on my channel. It took me a little while to find it, but I know I saw one, and I believe it was even the same seller. And it was an AFA 85, same hair color for Obi-Wan. As you guys know, there's like white, there's gray, there's kind of like an in-betweener, but it was the same grade, and it sold for $450 on the dot. And we talked about how my friend Chris W. over at Rogue 5 Toys, he said, AFA 85, loose graded Obi-Wan's, always $450. Well, not anymore. Right now, this one sold for $308.03, plus shipping on 31 bids. That just closed on July 31st. So this is an example. Again, it could be just timing. People are kind of not in the mood to buy right now. It could be because of summer break. People are spending their money traveling and things like that. But it is interesting that we've seen that large of a drop. Here was a U85 small hood dark stitch Hong Kong Jawa. This had the older case style, and I did forget to look up what the final sales price was on this, but this is not a Hong Kong, excuse me, this is a no COO. So it's labeled as a Hong Kong in the description for the item description for the eBay auction, or for sale, but this one was a no COO. You can see the two dashes after it says loose action figure. That means it's a no COO. This was a Palatoy made Jawa, which is known to have the small hood and dark stitch. So anyway, this one was a U85. So somebody sent in kind of a beater mint on card, and this is back when AFA was still doing uncirculated grading for loose figures. They don't do that anymore. And as you can tell, it's got the older case style. Well, it was listed for $250 plus $16.75 shipping. A best offer was accepted. And I did forget to look up the sales prices for a lot of these best offer accepted. You'll have to excuse me. Sometimes I forget, okay? Here was a Hong Kong 1978 R5D4 AFA 85, brand new case style. Awfully pretty looking figure there. That one was listed for $250 and plus shipping, and that one did sell. Typically, an AFA 85 1978 Hong Kong R5D4 usually sells for about $200, plus or minus. So my guess is it probably sold a little bit higher than that, but you just never know. You just never know these days. And is it just me, or is there no second peg? It looks like there's yeah, the peg was missing. See, it broke off. If you look to the right of R5D4's leg there, the peg broke off. So I didn't notice that when I originally pulled this one up. And I was looking at this, I was like, where's the other peg? I don't see the other dowel that holds the figure in place. But, this is a common problem with these dowel type cases with AFA and UKG, is that those dowels are kind of glued in and they can break off in shipping. And that's exactly what happened with this one. That is why I usually prefer the J-hooks that Collector Archive Services uses. They're a little bit more sturdy. They're kind of attached at the back between the figure's shoulder blades, and they tend to stay in and not break in shipping. I've never had one break in shipping ever. With CAS, but these AFA cases, they do break off. It can happen. So that one did have a broken peg, and it did sell. I don't know what the final sales price was, but assuming the case was in mint condition and not broken like this one, usually an AFA 85 R5 usually goes for about $200 or so. Here was a really interesting one that was brought to my attention by Patreon supporter Tony, and this was a red bar R5 ungraded. It looked to be pretty clean overall, just a little bit of wear to the sticker, as you can see, just a slight amount of wear to that silver chrome around the neck, but the paint on the figure was a really nice shape overall. This is probably like an AFA 80 type quality figure, but look at the paint apps on the top of the head. That is just immaculate. Anyway, this one did sell at auction a little whiles ago, but I forgot to include it in a recent market update. $774 ungraded for an R5D4, and I've got one that was so kindly sold to me by Drew T at a really great price. And so Drew, if you watch, I know you do watch occasionally, if you're watching this one, thank you again for the R5 that you so kindly sold to me for a pretty decent discount relative to what this one sold for. And I'm going to have to figure out a way to pay you back. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll find something at some point to pay you back on that. This is another one we documented in a what to buy video, and it just shows you how off I was on my price. This is a photo sample electronic laser rifle from 1980. This was an AFA 75, loose graded, but it was a photo sample as noted on the AFA label. And what that means is that this was used in photography by Kim Simmons, who was the guy who you know, photographed a lot of these Kenner toys. And he certified that it was in fact used for photo samples, and then AFA loose graded it and then also added a certificate of authenticity stating that the item was used in Kenner packaging and promotional photography, originated from Kim Simmons, who's a pretty famous photographer from back in the Kenner days. Anyway, this one was originally listed for almost $3,000. It finally did sell for $9.99. So it shows you, I just have no idea what these photo sample type items are worth, but that was a really cool item, and I think that price was really fair, really. Here was an interesting 31 back unpunched Tuscan Raider, just a little bit of crease below the ages 4 and up, a little bit of edge wear here and there, but a nice clear blister. That one sold for $365 on 21 bids. That was a great deal. Great deal. The Toys R Us price sticker was on the back, but nice and unpunched. I think somebody got a really good deal on that one. That was great. And here was another one that I was curious to see what it would sell for. It was originally listed for $3,000-ish or $3,500, somewhere in there. And this was an AFA 85 ESB proof card for the 45 back Star Wars display arena. So these proof cards for the original card backs, I mean, you see the Revenge of the Jedi card backs, proof cards, a lot, but you very rarely see Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, or just plain Return of the Jedi proof cards. But this was a beautiful example of one, AFA 85. It was $2,500 was the adjusted list price, and then the best offer was accepted. I would assume it was kind of like $2,200, $2,300, somewhere in that price point, but what a beautiful proof card. Next up, we had an interesting foreign item. This was the mail away for the Forlom, which was on the 47 back Empire Strikes Back cards, but this was in the Toltoys version. So these were the mailaways that were sent off to individuals in Australia and New Zealand. And I've got one of these graded in my collection, but this is the Toltoys box, showing that this was in fact the Forlom that was mailed away there. This one was at auction, and these mail away Toltoys only included the baggie and then the box. There was no paperwork inside or Kenner catalog inside like you saw for the US release. But this one sold for $158.50 plus $9.50 shipping. Next was another item I had on my what to buy list, and it did sell. This was a 31 back B Leia Bespin, and it was listed for $760, and the best offer was accepted on that one. So that one sold a few days after my what to buy video. Here was another one, another Leia Organa Bespin outfit. This was a 41 back that sold for $636, 35 bids, $6 shipping. But it was a nice clean example, punched with no price sticker. But look how clean that card back is. And here's the back of it. Really clean example for the Leia Bespin. Next up, we had another Leia. This was a Leia Organa in her Hot Health outfit. This was the 45 back Star Wars display arena. This was a yellowed blister. A little bit of wear around the hang tab, but you know, probably a low 80 or 75 plus condition, probably 75 plus given the wear, especially on the back of that hang tab. That one sold for $351 on free shipping. I think that's a pretty great price there. A few Spanish figures also did sell. This was a Spanish Puck / PvP Han Solo original 12 figure, Pale Hands. And this is the Puck because it's got the Hong Kong date stamp. So this is an early Spanish figure. Very tough to find this one in high grade. It was an AFA 85, and it was bought by a good friend of mine who happens to run 5 Idiots Talking Toys. And so, Chris, congratulations on that figure, because that is a very, very difficult figure to find. The Pale Hands and Chest Han Solo Pac figure. $525 was the list price on that one. And then the other Spanish figure was a Pale Hands Spanish Pac Ugnaught. You know, it just seems like these early Spanish figures are very rarely graded by AFA. Most of the graded examples for this early Spanish figures or the PvP figures usually are graded by UKG, just given they're over in Europe. So it's very, very rare you see these AFA graded examples, but this was an AFA 80 that sold for $325.50 plus shipping. Next up, we had a 47 back free 4-line offer. This was the Luke Skywalker with a yellowed blister Kmart price sticker, and a little bit of wear above the ages 4 and up, and you know, just some slight edge wear all the way around, but very nice condition overall. That sold for $402.52 on free shipping. Same seller had this one, which sold for big money. This was the 47 back Yoda, unpunched with another Kmart price sticker. Again, a yellowed blister, but that is a gorgeous example. This is a really tough combination. To find this 47 back with Yoda, you just don't find that one very much. And the price reflects that. It sold for $880 on 51 bids. Next up, we had a couple of transition cards. I was really, really digging these. I would love to have had some money to buy these, but they sold for way above what I expected. They were both ungraded. The first one is the Hammerhead. A little bit of wear around the hang tab, but still unpunched. Also did have a price sticker, but look at that beautiful crystal clear blister. And again, this is a transition card. So the 48 back Return of the Jedi card backs only had ESB and first, original Star Wars characters on these card backs. You didn't have any of the Return of the Jedi characters on there unless it was a photo sample or a salesman sample, excuse me. So very tough to find these, and the price reflected the high demand for them. $7.95 was the final sales price on that one. And the same seller had this one. I was drooling over it. This was the 21B on the same card back. It had just slight yellow tinting to the blister. These usually stay pretty clear, but that is a beautiful example of a transition card 21B. And that one sold for $7.69. So big money on those transition cards, and I think they're going to continue to go up in price just given the rarity. There's just not many of them produced before they very quickly moved over to the 65 backs, so the 65A. So just in general, those 48 back transition cards are big boy money. Next up was another really expensive one. This was a 65 back brown snake Yoda, crystal clear blister. It looked gorgeous. It was unpunched with a Walmart price sticker, and here's the back of the card. This is the Hong Kong version, not the Lily Letty version. It did have a little thumbtack in the upper corner up here as well as up here, so somebody probably hung that on their wall. Here's a nice close-up so you can see the thumbtack holes. So that really hurts the value, in terms of grading, but, give me a break. This is a gorgeous example of a clear blister Return of the Jedi Yoda, and that one sold for $800. $800 plus shipping. Next up, we had an AFA 85 Admiral Ackbar with the beige torso. That sold for $130.45 at auction on 30 bids. Pretty decent price there for a nice high-grade Ackbar. This General Madine finally did sell. I had this on my watch list for a couple of months. This is the molded-faced Hong Kong AFA 85, brand new K-style. That sold for $130 plus $5 shipping. Here was the Lily Letty overstock that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is a true Lily Letty C-3PO overstock. And what happened was when the Lily Letty factory down in Mexico was going out of business, they had all these parts that were unassembled in boxes. And they made their way to the black market, and they were often kind of spray painted, either silver or gold for the 3PO. And so that's what this is. That's why the paint on it's so bad. It's just kind of a primer type paint that was added probably after the fact, not in the factory, but it's a non-sonic welded true overstock because the paint, it goes on both sides of it. And I don't see any kind of sonic welding or loose, weak welding. There could be some right here potentially, but right here and right here is where you usually see the most kind of glue, leftover glue from the sonic welding, but those are pretty clean. And my gut says that these are true overstock. So they are big money on the open market, and they sold for $322 on 16 bids plus $15 shipping. Next up, we had that Polish bootleg 3rd generation General Viirs AT-AT Commander. These were made in about 1994, 1995, fully articulated with the Biker Scout arms and limbs. I had this one on the What to Buy video. That one did sell to a Patreon supporter of mine for $90. That was the best offer that was accepted. And that was really it. I was gonna add a few more items to the video, but I figured that this was probably long enough to start the week off. I'll probably sneak in another one towards the end of the week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.